How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video we have the best equipment for your creative player in MLB The Show 19 Diamond Dynasty. I think that the creative player is one of the best cards in the entire game if you have the correct equipment on them, depending on the position that you selected. I think if you go into this tab right here, you can look at some of the base cards, look at all the base created players, what their stats are like, and then you can kind of add up the created player equipment bonuses that you do have. So basically in this one, I think that if you add the equipment that I have right now to this, even the gold base card at catcher or shortstop, those are the two created players that I have maxed out. If you add the equipment to them, they still become some of the better cards in the game, arguably diamond cards, and maybe even 90 plus overall. At this point in the year, there are so many options for cards in Diamond Dynasty. I understand if you don't use a creative player, but if you do, I think you can really use any of the options at any of the positions and make those cards usable and very good with the equipment. If you take a look, we'll go ahead and go through the equipment that I have equipped to the power focused catcher, and then I'm also going to show you guys the stats that I have at the very end. So this one is a limited time bat skin. I believe you had to unlock it within a certain program or sometime along the early game cycle, but now you won't be able to buy that one. You'll probably have to purchase a different one off the market, but there are plenty of options. Same thing with batting gloves. There are a couple different ones. I'm looking for equipment that will balance my creative player and increase as many attributes as possible in different categories. So quickly, I'm going to go through the equipment that I'm using, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm using that equipment a little bit later on, as well as give you guys some other options if you don't want to use this specific equipment. I don't think it's necessary to use a diamond elbow guard, shin guard, or wrist guard. I don't think it's necessary to purchase those equipments off the market simply because it only really gives you one extra attribute in batting clutch, discipline, durability, stuff like that. It does not really make that big of a difference. I think it's necessary to increase the attributes with the other equipment and kind of just use gold equipment for those few equipment items. But basically, in this one, you have a few options for most of the equipment. Some of these you don't really have an option, like the bat tape as well as the stance socks. There's really only one diamond option for those. A lot of this equipment I was able to unlock throughout the XP Gear Up packs. Basically, they give you free diamond equipment as you move along in the XP reward path. And last year, I spent about 450,000 stubs on my creative players equipment in general. I wanted to show you guys a screenshot of all the equipment and basically recap what I just went over with that quick video clip. But basically, this ritual is probably the best one. There are a couple different options for some of these equipment items that will be better off in different positions. So if you have a pitcher creative player, obviously you would not want to increase the power and the contact attribute. There are other equipment items that you would want to go with if you have a pitcher focused creative player. I think the pitcher in this game, when you create a player that is a pitcher, I think he's absolutely disgusting. One of the best pitchers in the game in general. And I really think that the equipment, this type of way that MLB The Show went in this direction is really nice. In the past few years, you had to kind of feed all of your extra cards into your creative player, and he would kind of build up his stats that way. I think it's much better to grind out innings online with the gold creative player and then go ahead and put this equipment on that they're going to go ahead and just give you for playing the game, and you can make one of the best players in the game. You can put whatever swing you want. As you see in the right hand side there, I have Chipper Jones's creative player swing. I think it's important to have a natural switch hitting swing on your creative player if you want to go with a switch hitter. Some people like to use a righty, some people like to use a lefty. Then by all means pick any type of swing you would like. So really quickly, here are the stats on the base power focus creative player at the 89 level diamond. Once you make the selection, this is the base stats that you get. Once you apply the equipment, you will see the difference. This is the base stats for the contact focus shortstop creative player. I think that this card is really good. I used him a little bit, but with Honus Wagner being in the game, I went ahead and used this creative player instead. I used the power focus catcher. As you can see, he has plus 25 power, plus about 20 contact as well. I mean, increased vision at 80. The reason why I select some of that equipment is to help out that vision, get it up to that 80 threshold. 90 discipline, 100 clutch. I don't think using those extra diamond equipments on the elbow guard, wrist guard, and shin guard would really do much of a difference to those stats there. As you can see, he has 99 durability, so it doesn't really matter. I've never seen a creative player get injured. Some of the equipment for the arm strength certainly helps it get up to 99. But the reason why I have the diamond arm sleeve is to get the arm strength up on the contact focus shortstop up to a 91. It would be at an 89. I think it's important to have the thresholds at a 90. As you can see, this card doesn't have as much power. It even has kind of some splits there, 82 and 76 power, but the contact is both the same. That's just based on the base stats for the contact focus shortstop. I think this card's very good, but with having Honus Wagner, he's almost better in each category, and also doesn't have as much speed, but you might as well just go with Honus and then use your creative player in a different position if you have that option. So I just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit. As you can see, though, the creative player is amazing. If you went with a fielding focus or a balanced, you're in a good position as well. You're looking pretty good with the equipment. I think if you don't have that limited time bat skin, go ahead and get one of these bats that gives you plus 10 and plus 4 contact, or plus 9 and plus 5 contact. I think that those are obviously the most expensive bats. That's probably why they're the most expensive, right? I mean, if you look on the market here, a lot of these other bats are pretty cheap. That's because people are looking to use the one that's not sellable or the ones that are more expensive on the market. Anyway, I think if you don't want to go with the batting gloves I had selected, I think these 4th of July ones are pretty good. They can give you a little bit more vision, but less clutch. I don't really think clutch will matter as much, especially if it's in near the hundreds. I think you'll be fine with that. If you wanted to go with the catcher's glove, then you can go with this one. This obviously adds K per 9 as well as pitching clutch. Keep that in mind too. If you're trying to build up a pitcher, obviously you would want to go with more pitching attributes if you can increase those. As you can see, this fielding glove gives you plus 10 walks per 9, plus 10 stamina, and plus 10 hits per 9. Probably the better one to go with if you are using a pitcher. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys as many options as possible, a good variety of some of this equipment. Same type of thing with the cleats. I use the Griffey cleats because it gives me 13 speed and 10 reaction. I don't really care about the steal rating because I'm using a catcher who already has a low steal rating, and I don't really mind about the pitching attributes, but those red Mike Trout cleats are pretty good as well. They give you better pitching attributes. I wanted to talk about these elbow guards and everything, the stats that don't really matter. I don't believe it's necessary to spend 10,000 stubs on one discipline attribute versus having something like the gold one. I think same thing here with the leg guard. I don't really necessarily think it's worth 10,000 stubs for one extra attribute there as well. I mean, yeah, sure, I could get my creative player up to 102 clutch or something like that, and maybe 91 discipline, but I don't really think it's worth it to spend 30k stubs on just those 3 individual attributes. Now, if this gave me power or contact or vision, absolutely, I would think it's worth it. I would go for it. That's going to make a difference in the actual game, but I don't think one attribute on some of the items that it does give you is worth it. The other choice here for the glasses, this one gives you 1 extra reaction, I believe, and 1 extra accuracy. I'm not really sure what the difference is. I think I went with the Hyperforce Elite one simply because it gives me extra vision versus anything else. I don't really think that one fielding attribute will matter, especially if my creative player is at an 84 versus an 85. It's still gold. It's still a gold badge, if that makes sense. The other ritual I'd probably go with is this ritual History of Tops. This one kind of balances everything out. It gives you plus 2 speed, plus 2 power, plus 2 contact. I'm using the other one that gives you plus 8 power and contact. I won't get the fielding or the arm strength, but my guy's already pretty good in those areas. If you have a pitcher one, you definitely want to go with Axle Grease. This will give you the best pitching attributes for the ritual slot. It will give you 5 clutch, 5 K per 9, 5 home run per 9, and 5 walks per 9. I know some people have a creative player at pitcher. The ones I've faced have been really tough to hit. Anytime you can decrease the PCI, that's only going to help you, and that's what those stats do. So anyway, this is the balance-focused shortstop. If you added up all the equipment and added 25 power to both sides, this card would still be really good, as well as the fielding attribute might be near the 90s, depending on the fielding glove or the equipment that you go with. The speed will also be right there. These options are all really good. I think SDS did a phenomenal job of creating a bunch of creative players of all types of archetypes and whatnot. You can go ahead and select any type you want and make them an end game card with this added equipment. So hopefully I helped you guys out with the best equipment to add to your creative player. I think that you can really have a lot of variety here. You can make a player that is no longer in the game. You can make a player up completely from scratch, create yourself into the game. It's awesome. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.